Happy day, this is Sithal from M.O.P. College, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, BCom Honors. In this class, we are going to talk about the basis of derivatives. Derivatives is nothing but a financial instrument which is used in the market as a hedge products against the risk. Here, it's a contract between two parties. The values of derivatives is determined on the basis of the underlying assets. Here, the underlying assets values is being determined on the basis of the various external factors which are there in existence. To avoid the risk due to the external factors, we are using the derivatives contract. Here, this derivatives is being divided into four categories: futures, forwards, options and swaps. In this class, we are going to talk in depth about the options. Here, when I say options, it gives the rights to the parties to buy the shares at the time of the price when it's high. At that time, here it's an right but not an obligation. Here, this right can be purchased by the party through the contract between the person who is ready to sell or buy at the time when the price is high according to the investor's preference. So here we are going to involve two persons in this contract. In this contract, we used to have called an option premium and predetermined price. When I say option premium, it's a minimum amount which we require to pay at the time of purchasing the contract. Predetermined price is nothing but the price which will be mentioned in the option contract, can be exercised by the party who is buying the option contract at the time of exercising his right either to buy or sell the contract in the market. Initially, it is started in the Chicago. In the Chicago Boards of Exchange 1973, they have executed this option contract in that country. And here the option contract itself is being divided into two: American option or the European option. What's the difference between American option and European option is that when the right can be exercised before the due date of the option contract, it will be called as the American option. But when it can be exercised only at the end of the period, it will be called as the European option. So this is what the difference between the European option and then American option. Here the predetermined price is also known as the strike price or the exercise price because it's already mentioned in the option contract. This is a right which is there in the hands of the party to exercise at the time of buying the shares in the market. So this is what the preliminary terms about the options. Here, when I say two parties who will enter into the contract is that writer and seller. Here writer is the person who gets the contract or who gets the right to exercise his rights at the time of the execution of the contract. Seller is the person who giving the rights to the opposite party to make him to purchase or use the right at the time of the sale. That is what the writer and seller who has been involved in the contract. Here it's been further classified into 6 categories. The first 3 categories, it depends upon the type of right he has in the option contract. Next 3 category depends upon the gain which he is getting throughout of the contract. So first 3, it's nothing but the call option, put option and double option. When I say call option, he gets the right to purchase the shares at the predetermined price when he exercises his option. Make a note of it, when he has a right to purchase the share. That will be called as the call option. Next is the put option. In that put option, the writer has a right to sell the securities at a predetermined price in the existing market. So this is what called as the put option. When I say double option, when the writer is having both the option either to buy the security or to sell the security at a predetermined price which is mentioned in the option contract, it will be called as the double option. Here, whenever we are getting the gain out of the you exercising the right of call, put or double option, it will be called as the in money option. But if there is no profit or no loss, it will be called as at the money option. And then if there is a loss, it will be identified as out of the money option as OTM. So this is what the various types of options which is there in the market. And then we are going to talk about the features. Here when I say features, here he has a right to buy the security with a flexibility either before the option contract period or at the time of the option contract. So that will be called as the highly flexible feature which is there in the hands of the investors. Next one is the amount which we require to pay helps us to restrict the loss which we has a possibility to incur at a higher level in the market. That is called as the down payment. Even though it's a minimum amount, it helps to stop loss the amount which is there in the market. Then here at the end of the contract, either we have to settle the option contract or we have to buy the product. This is what the settlement process is there in the option contract. Here there is no obligation for you to buy or sell the security. It only says it's your right either to purchase or sell the security. If you don't want, you have to declare that you not going to exercise the option contract at the end of the period. That is what the settlement process. Here why it's been having the non-linearity feature is that here it says whatever the loss in the hands of the one person, it's not equal to the loss in the hands of the other persons, or profit and loss is not equal for both the party whoever is involved. That's why it's been identified as the non-linearity. So these are the various features that we are having in the option contract. Next we are moving towards the benefits. Here we used to have 4 benefits, depends upon the features we used to have in the option. One is the cost efficiency. Reason is that you have to incur only a minimum amount to get the option contract, not like a more amount which you have to incur in the futures and forwards and other swaps option. And here your loss has been stopped. As a result, you are having less risk when comparing to the other types of derivatives or other types of instruments which is there in the market. Then it also enables you to get more profit out of the less risk. That's why here it says that you are having the high potential returns with respect to the option contracts than any other derivatives contract. Next, here it enables you to have an more strategic alternatives in your hand, whether you want to have the call option or put option at the time of purchasing security. Even you can use the double option, but at the time of the requirement in the market you can use any one of it. That's why it's been identified as the more strategic alternatives. So these are the main benefits that we are getting out of the options. Next, we are moving towards the case study to have a better understanding about the options. Here in this case study, Sarah is the person who is interested to invest in the XYZ corporation stock. At the time, the amount when he gets the interest is that rupees 100 per share, that she is expecting that the value will get increased. So she is interested to buy the call option. We have to note what kind of options that we are purchasing. She is getting call option, so it gives the right for her to purchase the shares at a strike price of 110. Here when I say strike price, here it says that the value can be purchased, the number of shares can be purchased at a value of rupees 10. Here to purchase this call option, she has to pay a minimum of down payment as rupees 5 at the time of signing a contract. Here the contract size is mentioned. Reason is that whenever you purchase an option contract in the market, it's only on a slot basis. That's why here we need to know what is the contract size which we are entering into the contract. And then here the expiration date of the option contract has been mentioned. This is only for a period of 3 months from the date of signing the contract. Now we are moving to the solution. Here at the time of the 3 months, here the stock price has been raised to the value of rupees 130. Here Sarah has an option to buy the shares at the value of 110. As a result, she is getting a profit out of the option contract is 15 rupees per share. So the total profit will be 1500. If she is not going to use the strike price, because in the second scenario the value is there at the value of 105 but not 110, because the already strike price we determined is 110. If we are going to use the strike price, then obviously we will have a 5 rupees as a loss per share. So Sarah won't use that. As a result, she has to have a total loss of premium amount which she paid at the time of purchasing the contract as amount of rupees 500 only. Next we are moving towards the case study 2. Here in this case study 2, it's a ABC Corporation Limited. Here an investor who is interested to make an investment in that corporation, he is expecting that can be a high inflation, it can go up or go down. So he is interested to purchase the double option, call option as well as put option. Here in this call option, he determines the strike price as amount of rupees 50, and put option also he determines the strike price as amount of rupees 50. Here the premium amount is being mentioned as 3 and 2.5 for the two options separately. Here at that time of the expiration date is being mentioned as 1, and the total cost incurred to purchase per share is 5.5. Now we are going to see how this option is going to be used by the investors in the ABC Corporation stock. Here when there is a significant rise in the price, more than 50 rupees from the strike price, that is 60. At that time, he can use the call option to purchase the security at a value of rupees 50. Here, when there is a significant decrease, he can use the put option to sell the securities of the other party at a value of rupees 10 to get the gain. If he is not going to use the money when there is an equal between the strike price and predetermined price, then he won't use the contract. He has to incur a loss of amount of rupees 550 only. I hope with this case study you have better understanding about the options contract. For more such videos, like, share and subscribe the M.O.P classroom. Thank you.